Good Friday morning, and thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, the voice you know with the news you trust studio, sponsored by BASF and Veltima Fungicide. Proven number one for the toughest corn diseases with long-lasting residual when you need to be confident your fungicide will perform. I'm Dusty Sonnenberg reporting. We'll smoke outside, but under clear skies otherwise, we have 67 degrees on the barn thermometer. It looks like it's going to be another hot and humid day, and unfortunately, those air quality index numbers are going to be at record high levels. A couple quick calendar reminders and programming notes. Join me at midday today as I'll be traveling to Marion County with the Ohio Field Leader Roadshow. It's powered by soy biodiesel as we will be at Ralph Farms visiting with Mike Ralph. We'll talk about the family, the farm, and his time on the Ohio Soybean Council Board. The Field Leader is a project of the Ohio Soybean Council and the Soybean Checkoff. Also coming up on Monday, join us at the Crawford County Fair, thanks to Nature's premium liquid fertilizers since 1946. And our next monthly check-in at Farm Credit Mid-America will be coming up next Wednesday, the 22nd. Tune in as we'll discuss the latest Farm Credit Mid-America news and updates. It's time now to take a look at the top headlines on the Ohio AgNet newsfeed. Obviously, the smoke out of Canada's wildfires is making headlines, and we'll be talking more about that in a little bit. Managing risks in today's livestock markets is also a challenge many farmers face, as strong prices in the livestock industry have created both optimism and opportunities to turn a profit, but volatility, disease concerns, trade uncertainty, and market swings still remain a reality. Ty Higgins had a chance to catch up with Austin Robinson, livestock product specialist with Farm Credit Mid-America. You can read about their full discussion online today at ohioagnet.com. Another top news story features the Heffelfinger family, farming in Van Wert County since 1852. They were a feature last month with the Ohio Field Leader. That's a project of the Ohio Soybean Council and the Ohio Soybean Checkoff. You can read all the details today at ohioagnet.com. And a reminder, today's news feed was delivered to you by Eberts Field Seeds, delivering proven local seed performance to Ohio farmers. It's time to start planting Eberts. Call us at 937-473-2521 or visit us online at ebertseeds.com. That's EBBERTS seeds.com. Let's catch up now with Joe Everett as he has a look at recent ag equipment sales numbers.
Combine sales posted modest gains in June, while tractor sales continue to decline, according to the latest numbers from the Association of Equipment Manufacturers. U.S. combine sales increased by almost 4% from a year ago, while Canadian combine sales jumped 14%. Meanwhile, U.S. agricultural tractors sales fell by over 18%, and Canadian tractor sales dropped by 12.5%. Association of Equipment Manufacturers Senior Vice President Kurt Blade says, although tractor sales remain below last year's levels, the increase in combine sales is a welcome development and demonstrates that farmers continue to invest in what makes most sense for their operations. The biggest drop in U.S. tractor sales took place in four-wheel drive farm tractor category, which dropped by over 30% from last year. Blade says the farm equipment market continues to face significant economic headwinds and adds that greater certainty surrounding market conditions and long-term farm policy will be important to restoring confidence across rural America. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Joe Everett reporting.
Thanks, Joe. Well, it's time now to take a look at our Friday and through the weekend weather forecast. This weather update brought to you by Seed Genetics Direct, the number one fastest growing and largest Ohio-based independent seed company. Let's get a check now of your Friday and through the weekend weather forecast. This weather update brought to you by Seed Genetics Direct, the number one fastest growing and largest Ohio-based independent seed company.
Hot and humid again today, or at least very warm. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at that Ohio Ag weather update. Here's what I've got for you today. We've got Canadian wildfire smoke making it look hazy out here, but dew points can remain elevated. It's just muggy. Just not a thick day, right? Thick. You go outside and the moisture in the atmosphere just makes you want to go back in. This is our Thursday. We're going to start Friday like this as well, but clouds build tomorrow afternoon, and we do see a few showers and thunderstorms developing in western parts of Ohio as we approach a sunset. Better chances through Saturday afternoon, evening, Sunday afternoon, and evening. I think all told from tomorrow night right on through Tuesday morning, we can see 1/2 to 2 inches of rain, depending on where you are at in Ohio. Then we turn cooler, less humid, with partly sunny skies from Wednesday forward next week before rains come back late in the week, rather the weekend of the 25th and 26th. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more as the Ohio AgNet continues after this.
If your summer road trip leads you to Ohio's farm country, be sure to share the road with Ohio's farmers. Farm machinery moves slowly, makes wide turns, and needs extra space to avoid obstacles like mailboxes and guardrails. Let's all be mindful and make sure everyone gets home safe and sound this year. This message brought to you by the Ohio AgNet, OSU Extension Ag Safety and Health Team, and this station.
Welcome back to the Ohio AgNet. Well, Ryan mentioned with the weather the Canadian wildfire smoke. Let's catch up now with Joel Panorwood as he takes a look at how this impacts Ohioans and Ohio farmers.
Joel Panorwood here with Ohio AgNet and Ohio's Country Journal. Summertime in Ohio means weather that you never know what's going to happen. And in particular, we're going through an interesting event right now with Canadian wildfire smoke coming down and affecting air quality. And joining us right now, somebody who knows quite a bit about that subject, Bob Hodenbose. He's chief of the Division of Air Pollution Control at the Ohio EPA. And Bob, thank you so much for being here with us today. Tell us a little bit about, if you don't mind, big picture, what's the situation we're dealing with right now?
Right now, and as you mentioned, Joel, there's a number of, I think there's over 800 Canadian wildfires, individual fires going on in southern Ontario, and the smoke from those fires are blowing down into the northern United States. The smoke right now has reached northern Ohio, and it is Toledo, Canton, certain Cleveland and Youngstown, and those values are in the unhealthy range for individuals as far as the level of smoke that's in the air.
If you don't mind, give us an overview of how those values are ranked. Of course, we know, green is good, red, dark red's pretty bad, yeah. But for folks that we get reminded, it seems like, during the summertime, AQI and what all it means.
Yes, the AQI runs from good 0 to 50, moderate is 51 to 100. Everything above 100 starts at typically unhealthy for sensitive individuals, people with asthma and other breathing difficulties. And that goes up to 150. Right now, in some of the spots in Ohio, we are above 150 and in some cases above 200 into the very unhealthy range.
At those points, for those that have to work outside or find themselves as, say, in a farmer role where their job is outside. Yeah. What do you do? What do you do?
It's also, on top of it, we got 90 plus degrees out there. So it's you try to avoid long time being outside, breathing the air, or intense activities. Try to go indoors, take breaks. Certainly keep hydrated under the warm weather conditions, and do your best to be indoors as much as possible during these days. And we foresee that it's today, and certainly in northern Ohio, and it's going to be spreading to southern Ohio, and tomorrow through the entire state. But we're looking that Saturday it should clear out. Late Friday into early Saturday, it should clear out. So it's over the next 2 days to really be watchful of your activities outside.
Bob, how do different environmental situations impact the air quality during when there's wildfires happening up north? Is it sort of a perfect storm of the other weather impacting it? Does that have much of an impact? When rain rolls in, does that help out things quite a bit? Tell us about that.
Yes, it is just lining up right with the smoke from the fires and the fronts coming through, bringing down some of the smoke, and then we are going to have a bigger front come through and clear out that smoke. We'll have rain. If it does rain, we get showers. That certainly washes off the particulates and all, and helps clean up the air. And again, we're looking for a bigger front coming through and clearing this out and changing the wind directions for us starting Saturday.
Bob, as we wrap up this conversation here today, what are your kind of final parting thoughts for our farmer listeners in particular?
Well, for for all the farmers out there, just do your best to try to avoid the intense activity. Take a break if you feel like you need it, and if your place has air conditioning, certainly rest up before you have to go back out into the outside.
Bob Hodenbossie, Chief of the Division of Air Pollution Control of the Ohio EPA, joining us here today on the Ohio AgNet, talking about this interesting time that we have with regard to our outdoor air quality situation. I'm Joel Norwood reporting.
Thanks, Joel. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more after this.
Looking for heavy equipment but don't know where to buy? Purple Wave Auction has you covered. Always online and always no reserve. It's your destination for construction or ag equipment ready to work. We even sell semis, trailers, and fleet equipment for your operation. Best part? It's free to join. Head to purplewave.com. That's purplewave.com. Sign up for a free account and start bidding today. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
Welcome back to the Ohio AgNet. Well, recently, World Ag Outlook Board Chair Mark Jekanowski shared the USDA's latest look at the 26 and 27 pork production forecast, as well as the USDA's beef outlook.
Reduced our production forecast for both 2026 and 2027, and mainly what we're keying off here is the hogs and pigs report. It showed lower farrowings, a smaller pig crop for 2026, and expecting that smaller pig crop and lower farrowing intentions to carry into 2027. So for 2026, we reduced our pork production forecast by 40 million pounds, and for 2027, it's down by 150 million pounds. But year over year, we're still anticipating some growth, up about 180 million pounds for U.S. pork production. We raised our steer price forecast for 2026 by 94 cents per hundredweight. Now it is at $251.10 per hundredweight, and we expect that strength to continue into 2027, given the tight supplies. That price forecast was raised by 50 cents per hundredweight to $254.25.
As for the beef production forecast this month,
lowered this month. For this calendar year, what we're observing is lower steer and heifer slaughter. The 2027 reduction mainly reflects lower placements in the second half of 2026, which will result in fewer available steers and heifer for slaughter in 2027.
Thanks, Mark. Let's take a look at what's impacting the grain markets. Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to bring a brand new soybean crush facility to Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Learn more about marketing your soybeans with LDC at 574-566-2113.
Grain markets finished the Thursday session with a little bit of a lower push. Export sales disappointed to start the day on the weekly export sales report. 12 million bushels of old crop corn versus 22 million the previous week. 7 million bushels of old crop beans, that's it. 2 million the previous week. 9 million bushels of wheat versus 12 million. On the new crop side, well, we got a little bit better, but it was not enough to get the market too super excited. USDA is right about its old crop soybean export forecast, but it's going to have to raise the corn target by probably 75 to 100 million bushels. Never before has USDA let total U.S. corn export commitments as of mid-July exist above its forecast in the August WASDE report, so there'll have to be some kind of adjustment here in August upcoming. Brazil's interior cash corn index is higher for the 8th straight day. That means also demand better served out of the U.S. than Brazil. Export taxes as well. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Let's take a look now at how those markets closed yesterday in Chicago on the Board of Trade. September corn closed down 0.6 and December corn was down 5.5. August soybeans closed the day down 7.25 cents, while November soybeans were down 6 3/4, and September Kansas City wheat closed down 3.5 cents, while September Chicago wheat was down 2 3/4, and September Minneapolis wheat was up 2 cents. Now in the overnight trade, September corn is trading down 3 1/4 at $4.38 1/4. December new crop corn is down 3 1/4 as well at $4.60 3/4. August soybeans are trading down 4 cents, $11.91, with November new crop beans down 3.5 cents at $11.91 1/2, and wheat for September currently trading down 5.5 cents at $6.69 1/4. Hold that till December. It's down a nickel at $6.86. At the close in livestock, we find August live cattle were down $3.05 at $227.07 1/2, and October cattle closed down $2.72 1/2 at $223.27 1/2. August lean hogs were down a nickel at $100.27.5 cents, but October hogs were up 20 cents at $86.92.5. This is the Ohio AgNet.